Equifax. How many of you know what I'm mean when I say Equifax? Okay. If you don't know by now, you will certainly know if I get through. But you really should know by now. I mean, Equifax has been in the news. And not necessarily for a good thing. I want to play three audio clips. They're all from the news program, NPR Marketplace, to give you an understanding, a flavor of where I'm coming from. And then I'll make some comments afterwards and take some questions and answer as many questions as I can. And I'm going to have to adjust the sounds, so we've got to work with the technology, so hang with me a little bit here. I don't want that one first. I don't want that one first. So, let's do this one first.
Can you download?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up.
But you download.
No.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Rizdal. We got in touch with Equifax today to see if maybe the CEO wanted to come on and explain how the personal data of 143 million American consumers,
Can you hear?
Social Security numbers, dates of birth, the really valuable stuff,
It's just audio.
it got hacked.
Just a voice.
Here is the response we got from the company verbatim. Thank you for reaching out. We have no further information to contribute at this point other than what is in the news release. So we went to the press release, which quotes CEO Richard Smith as saying that the hack strikes at the heart of who we are and what we do. But if what you do, your core corporate competency, is gather and check our personal and confidential financial information and it gets hacked instead, that's bad, right? Here's Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman.
From a crisis management standpoint, you can't sugarcoat this. The massive data breach is just awful for Equifax, at least short term, says CFRA research analyst Keith Snyder.
It makes them look very bad, and to be honest, consumer credit bureaus weren't exactly popular ways to customers to begin with.
Stephen Hahn Griffiths at the Reputation Institute says this is a black eye for the company.
In the same way, if a fast food outlet has food poisoning issues, or if an airline has a crash, obviously it's core to their service delivery.
Though Hahn Griffiths says it's much worse for financial companies when they're caught deceiving or cheating customers. And he says consumers are actually pretty forgiving about data hacks, perhaps because the problem seems so widespread. Peter Cohen teaches business at Babson College and predicts Equifax will recover in time.
Reputationally, it's probably not quite as bad as the one that affected Chipotle, in the sense that what's happening here is not making people ill.
Also, consumers often don't choose their credit agency and might not even know it's Equifax checking their financials, says David Cass at the University of Maryland.
Consumers, the way the system is set up, do not have much choice and will sort of have to rely on them in the future.
What would be really bad for Equifax, the experts say, is if the hack turns out to be worse than first reported, or if consumers have a bad experience with the services the company offers to help with identity theft. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
Good, now that's the first one.
This is Market.
There's another one I want to share with you.
You're on the same page.
Like that. Okay. So this one.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Rizdal. There are, as we've been pointing out the past week or so, a whole bunch of questions to ask about the Equifax hack. One that we answered on Friday was how hard is it to protect all of that data of ours that they've got, or that they had till it got hacked. Another, which comes with the news that the company chief security officer and chief information officer are out, is this. What did Equifax, when did, Lily Hay Newman is a security reporter at Wired Magazine, where she has been covering this hack. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
I need you to tell me what this thing called Apache Struts is.
Yeah, so Apache Struts is a sort of framework that's used for web applications and then also is running on servers that use those web applications. So in the case of Equifax, probably what happened is they had a server or a few servers that were running a program, that utilized Apache struts, and it wasn't patched. So that allowed an attacker to invulnerability and get onto that server and go who knows where from there.
Right, and here we get to the nub of the thing, because apparently Apache Struts sent out a notice in March that there was a vulnerability, here's your patch, all you companies who use us, update your stuff, and Equifax did not do it.
Correct. They say that they were aware of the bug and the patch, and that they had taken steps to patch their systems elsewhere, but they admit that they had some oversights, and there turned out to be places that needed the patch that hadn't received it.
Was this a technically difficult hack to make, do you think?
No, the initial exploitation of this vulnerability would have been pretty easy. I think the hardest thing would have been finding the vulnerable system in the first place, but that might not even have been that difficult. We really don't have a lot of technical details yet about what was going on all that time that the breach was happening. It's pretty typical for an attacker to kind of lie in wait or sort of have a reconnaissance period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they could have detected it sooner and started remediation sooner, and that would have been productive.
What's funny is you're talking about it almost in terms that makes one think that it's a person who's in there hacking around in the system. And I guess it is in the operating the keyboard thing, but it's an actual living thing inside Equifax's systems, I guess is the point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a brains behind the operation.
Yeah.
This is going to get even more wild if it's not.
Well, so that goes to the point, could there still be something lurking inside Equifax's systems that they don't know about?
It is possible. Certainly there are people claiming to be the attackers, speaking to reporters on the dark web who say we're still in Equifax's system. None of them have been validated. There are stories about so-called advanced persistent threats, APTs, where firms like Mandiant, the firm that's reported to be working with Equifax, spend weeks in a sort of all-out war with hackers, where every time they get a system back to the good guys, the attackers compromise a new system on the network, and it just is a cat and mouse.
A necessary caveat here, this, as distressing as this is not going to be the last time this happens.
And this wasn't the first time it happened either.
Right.
This fits into a steady stream of breaches and possible breaches over the past decades, not to mention the past 5 years or something. This is a huge one, though. There's no parallel so far.
Lily Hay Newman, she writes on security at Wired. All her coverage is up online at wired.com. Lily, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry. That was Brother Taft. Had to take that. Okay, one other piece of tape, and then we'll get to your questions.
This Marketplace podcast is brought to you by Uninet. Over 1,000 project-driven organizations rely on Uninet for time and billing, real-time project reporting, resource scheduling, budgeting, and financials. Customers report faster invoicing, improved utilization, and happier employees. Watch videos at unanet.com. And by the And Then 17 Market.
Sorry, we got to go by the ads. A lot of the stuff you can't put on there unless you have an ad on the stuff. But we ain't got to listen to all this.
From Marketplace in New York, I'm David Brancaccio. The interim CEO of Equifax sent a public apology this week via the pages of the Wall Street Journal. He's sorry about his company's massive data breach affecting 44% of Americans. He also made an offer, free Equifax credit freezes for affected consumers. Marketplace's Ryan Kyloff explains what that would do.
About 10 years ago, Leslie Beck's husband had his wallet stolen. The thieves tried to use his credit cards, take money from his bank accounts. Then they got serious.
They went out and bought cars in my husband's name, staged fake accidents, and submitted false medical claims for him.
As it happens, Leslie Beck is a certified financial planner. She says freezing your credit, like with the free service Equifax is offering, can be very effective in preventing fraud like this, if you don't use credit much.
The problem with credit freezes is they really are kind of a pain in the neck.
If you are making big purchases, or approving student loans, or making mortgage changes, she says, a credit freeze can slow you down or lock you out. Also,
it doesn't prevent a lot of other types of identity theft, which actually can be more devastating.
Says Liz Weston, author of several books on personal finance. She says freezing your credit can prevent identity thieves from opening new accounts in your name, but it can't stop the much more common practice of exploiting the accounts you already have. In New York, I'm Ryan Kyloff for Marketplace.
Okay, so those are the three pieces of tape I wanted to share with you. Let me get this back to, well, I got one more thing I want to show, but I can show it in a minute. So for those who heard this story, who can tell me how many people, what's the population of the United States that got caught up in this hack at Equifax? A half. 143 million. Half the population is caught up in this. And as they said, we'll have no control over it. They get our information. If you ever shop anywhere and use a credit card, they report that information to the three credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And you and I, we have no control over it. Also, and this is really important, so let me say this to all of us, who use smartphones like I do, and computers like I do, when they send out that update, and they say, update your computer or update your phone, and you say, well, I'll do it later, well, this is what Equifax did. They sent out an update, a patch, that's what they call it, an update of security. One area, they didn't upload. And because they didn't do that, the crooks who were into the system found that vulnerability, got in, and this is the real killing part. Do you know that this hack happened in July and they didn't report it until August? Or March. And they reported it was July or August they reported it.
Well, the first time was July, and then
that's how long before they reported it.
It's a scheme.
Well, yeah, it's that and a whole lot more. But the crooks was in the system. All right, they should have let us know right away that they have been compromised, but they didn't. All right, so what does that tell us? When someone sends you, if you have a smartphone or computer, and they send you an update right away. You never know what they'll say. Those updates are for bugs and for other things. Sometimes they found some vulnerability in the software. Every computer and every smartphone we have now is run by software, and they find vulnerabilities in it. All right, because there's hackers out there trying to get access to them, and so they find the patches and they send it to you. When they do that, update right away. All right, update right away, so you can protect yourself as best you can. Okay, that's one of the lessons we need to learn from this. Also, I want to share with you what they said about credit freezes. All right. And the good thing is, now Equifax has gone a little bit beyond what they're talking about here with credit freezes now. And I'll read that in a minute. But let me tell you the problem with the credit freeze. And I'm glad Equifax came clean. You know, anytime you want to freeze your credit, there's a fee. And you can't freeze your credit at one credit agency. You have to freeze it at all three. Okay? And you have to find out what it costs at each of those agencies. Now, with Equifax, what they're going to do is allow you to freeze it free. But this is the problem. Like me, I'm ready to go buy me a smartphone, a new one. I'm buying it through T-Mobile. When I get ready to go buy that smartphone, the first thing they're gonna do is check my credit. And almost anybody else, unless you're gonna go and pay cash for it. Okay? They're gonna check your credit. With a credit freeze, they can't get your credit check. And then they'll deny you the purchase. Okay? They'll deny you the purchase. And you really can't fault them. They want to find out if you're creditworthy. So you really can't fault them, but you need to be aware of it. I want to read you this article real quick. Yeah. I thought I had. Well, let me just paraphrase. Apple's one that just come out with the new iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, and they're going to come out with the 8 and the 10. Okay, and but Apple's already saying if they can't verify your credit, they're not going to be able to sell you the phone unless you're going to pay for it cash. All right. And not many of us pay cash for our cell phones. We either get them through our providers and we pay over time, even though it's not an interest charge. We pay over time, but they have to be able to check your credit to do that. All right. So that's the first thing. But even if you're going to go and apply for an apartment, you'll be surprised how many entities check credit for simple things. Even paying for an apartment, even getting insurance, whatever, you'd be surprised. They go and check your credit. Yes, sir.
They also check your credit for government jobs now.
Okay, that's nothing. And if they can't check your credit, you just get denied.
And if it's bad, you get denied.
Of course, if it's bad.
With the prison system, I know that.
Right.
I know
if it's bad, it's denied. But the point is, they can't even check it. You may have excellent credit, but if you freeze it, and then the key thing is, you got to put the freeze on, and you got to call and get the freeze taken off. So the onus is on you. All right. So that's another thing you need to be aware of with this this freeze, or with this situation with Equifax. Now, the good thing is, well, if you can find anything good out of this, how much you can find good out of this. One of the things that Equifax is going to set up, and it's supposed to be set up by the first of the year, is they will allow you to go in and lock and unlock your credit. You don't have to do a freeze. You can just go in and lock and unlock it, but you have to be computer savvy to do this. Okay, but you can determine who sees your credit. All right, that's what they're going to set up. I hope they do set it up, because if they set it up, the other two reporting agencies are going to have to follow suit. They're not not going to want to do it, but they're going to have to do it, because they're going to be saying, well, here's our competitor over here, and they're allowing their users to lock and unlock their credit. This is not a freeze. You can go on and just tap on it, and you can lock it, all right, or you can unlock it. And you can also see who is getting your credit information. Remember we said that you should get a credit report once a year? I'm one of the ones who I sung that song here for I don't know how long, right? But you can only get one free from each one of them once a year. All right. Well, this situation, you can monitor yourself. You ain't getting no credit monitor. You got to pay for it. They're going to give you this opportunity free. Why? Because Equifax is getting ready to pay a lot of money for getting this breach. They're going to pay a lot of money. And they're trying to keep the institutions, who their customers are? Banks and other institutions, retail establishments. Those are their customers. We are not their customers. They just have our information, but we're not their customers. All right. So that's what Equifax is getting ready to do. All right. Now, what you should do, or what should we do to help protect ourselves? And that's this other piece of information I want to put up, and I got this from Consumer Reports. Very important, because I used it last evening and last night. And give me a second. And I don't know if can you see this? To come back up. Now this, I'm going to describe it, and then I'll give let me give you the website that you can go to. It's consumerreports.org. So it's spelled ConsumerReports.org. That's consumerreports.org. And when you get there, just click on the search button and type in Equifax data breach. Equifax data breach. What consumers need to know. And it will take you to this page. I printed out the page, but you really need to go to it online because there's a link. And I'm going to show you what that link is. This is where they talk about the data breach, but this is the link. You can find more information at a site Equifax set up. Now I'm going to click on that link, and so I'm going to give you an idea of what it looks like when you get to it. Okay, now you see up the top the address of it is EquifaxSecurity2017.com. That's the page that it's going to send you to, and they're going to tell you what you need to do here to see if your information was possibly compromised. I went through this yesterday, and mine is possibly compromised. Well, if half the United States is, there's a good chance you might be in it too. Okay, all right. And what you don't want to do is find out that your identity is stolen later on. You want to sign up for the credit monitoring service now if they say you happen to be compromised, because the enrollment and the credit monitoring is free. There's no cost for it. All right. So there's a little link on there that says, "Am I impacted?" When you click on that link, it'll take you to, and it'll tell you what you got to put in. Am I impacted? You click on it again, it'll say put your last name in and the last 6 digits of your Social Security number in, and it will let you know. I'm not going to do that. I did it last night. I can tell you what my answer was. You're possibly impacted. All right. But I encourage everyone here to do that. All right. And if you can't do it online, let me give you a phone number for Equifax, so that you can, because you know that a lot of people are not computer savvy. All right. But let me see if I can get you the phone number. Equifax. Let's go. Return to Equifax.com. And you can let them know I don't have a computer or whatever, but I need to know if my data might have been compromised. Yes.
You said go to consumersreport.org and then under the search.
Yeah, just in the search box, just type in Equifax breach, okay, and it will take you to where I am here. Now, this is very important. Make sure that when you go to this site, you go through Equifax. Because the crooks jumped on it right away. When they set this site up, the crooks jumped on it right away. You know what they did? They took the link and they just spelled it backwards. And people were going to that. See, because it sounded like it was the link. See, the link really says, it's really something. It says it's Equifax Security 2007, right? So what they did is put security Equifax2007.com. And then people clicking on that, and people would put in all the information. So, well, now we know Satan. We shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised that there are crooks out there. They're trying to get your hard-earned money or whatever. Okay. So it's important to go to the right place to check this out. And what I want to do is see if they have a phone number. I know a lot of people are calling them. I see the email. See, connect with us. Connect customer service. There it goes. Customer service care representative. So let me see if I can give you a phone number, because some of us don't have access to a computer. Yeah. So let's see what. Let me see if they come up with a phone number. They got mail correspondence. Talk to an Equifax customer service representative about my price. I have log in to member service. Log in means you got to have a computer. Okay, here you go. Here's the phone number. Here's the dispute information on my credit report. Anyway, here's the phone number. 866-349-5191. Let me say that again. 866-349-5191. And they got have a few other and a few other numbers. But what you want to do is get to Equifax and let them know I don't have a computer, but I want to see if my information might be compromised. Okay, and then go from there. All right. Yes.
I just have a question about the website consumerreports.org.
Yes.
Is it 2 R's?
Yeah.
It is, okay.
Yes. Okay. And I'll spell it for you.
And then when you type in security breach, what is supposed to come up? What's
Information that it would be information similar to this. See what's Equifax data breach? You'll see this form here, this document here, and there's the link. See this link right here? You can click on that link. It's called the Equifax data breach. What consumers need to know. If you just type that in, it'll bring you to this document. The company says vital information of 143 million people was potentially put at risk. That's the document you want to get to. Yes.
One of the things they can also file taxes, your taxes.
Oh, they can.
And that happened to my brother, and he went to did his electronic, and they said, "Oh, you
somebody already filed it, right?" They can do so much if they have the information. Yes.
This ain't nothing to be grinning about.
Okay.
My wife just informed me that we are also in the breach.
Okay.
She said she found out weeks ago.
Okay.
You see why I'm
well, hey.
She saved me headaches. So
when they say half the United States, 143 million people, there's a good chance. It's a good chance you might be there. Okay. Well, that's how many they told you, right? But they said half the United States.
Well, yes. But when you go in there, it tells you, like, yes, it's you. And then they sign you up for protection, so, like, you get alerts and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, it's a no.
If you sign up for the protection, that negates your right for if you are compromised to sue them.
No, that's originally, you're correct. Originally, they did have that on it, and then they took it off. Yeah, they did. Originally, they had it on there where, in order if you sign up for the protections, you had to go through arbitration. That you couldn't sue them, but they took it off. You know, they don't want anything now to make them look even worse than they already look. That's why they're giving you a free, maybe to put your credit freezes on free, because the usual is charging you to put the credit freezes on and take them off. All right. So they took that off. You're correct. So let your coworker know that they're taking that off. Right. They really do want people to be aware of what's going on with their credit, you know, and don't want nobody to steal their identity. You know. Okay. So I got about 2 minutes left. Any other questions that I can answer? Not too much I can say, but I can just give you the benefit of what I've been able to find out. Is there anything else that I can answer for anyone?
Oh, yeah, let him go, and then I got one.
You recommending that we should sign up for that free monitoring or whatever?
Oh, if you should go first to find out if you've possibly been compromised, because you can't get it unless you have been compromised.
What if it said
Free.
possible compromise?
If it says you're possibly compromised, then you can sign up for it. Yeah, oh yeah, sign up for it. Oh, absolutely. Don't take any chances. Sign up for it. Yes. Yes, sir.
Can you bring that first article back up? The background on that newspaper article.
The newspaper article?
The first printout. It had a background with a bunch of numbers and things like that. What was that a picture of? It had like code language.
It's just a picture. It's just like a picture for a computer. It could have been a server or something like that. It was just
It was numerous different symbols.
Yeah, but it's just a picture behind the
They're just
audio.
designing that for technical.
Right. But most people will just listen to the they do the radio broadcast, and so when you come to that, you just see that picture. But it's the audio that you really want to make.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that was actually.
I'll let you see it.
Some type of hardware.
I'll let you see it after I get through. I got it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the iPhone, I think it's the 10.
Mm-hmm.
The face recognition.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm okay with the thumbprint, but face recognition, what if I'm in the bathroom?
Well, they've already.
And sometimes I like to read a newspaper.
Right. Well, so let me just say this. What they've done is, to me, they've improved on the thumbprint.